Comprehension mystery today with our book called The Polar Express. How many of you have seen the movie The Polar Express? Okay, so a couple of you. You've never seen the movie The Polar Express? My heart breaks for you, Ava. You've got to watch it, okay? That's your one goal over Christmas break. Think you can do it? Okay. So before we get into Polar Express, though, remember that we always start with our vocabulary. Because if we don't understand what our vocabulary words are, it makes it a little bit more difficult to read, right? So remember that our first process, whenever we're going through to start our story, is to look at our vocabulary words, and we're going to kind of make an idea, come up with an idea of what these words might mean. Remember that we want a definition, not necessarily an example, okay? So we're just kind of going to go through real quick, jot down what we think these definitions are for these words, and then we'll dig into our comprehension mystery just a little bit, okay? All right. Alex, are you ready? Okay. Our first word is rustle. What do you think that rustle means? What do you think rustle means, Alex? Listen to my word. Rustle, not wrestle. Yeah, that vowel's a little bit differently, isn't it? Rustle. If you're outside in the fall, you might hear the leaves rustle. What does that mean, Addie? Okay, so Addie's saying her prediction or guess is that it might mean falling. Ava, do you want to add something to that? Okay, the leaves in the fall kind of fly. Okay. We good? We have something else to add, Alex? Okay, so kind of winding. Okay. All right. Our next word is hissing. What do you think hissing means? Shannon, what do you think hissing means? Remember, I want a definition, not an example. A cat does hiss. What does it mean when a cat hisses? What do they do? It tells you okay, because it makes a what? How do you know that it's hissing at you? What is it doing? Do you see it hiss? No, you hear it. Oh, you hear it. So hissing means that you make a sound. Oh, okay. You make a sound. What does that sound like, Chandler? Do you agree? Anybody agree with that sound? Sort of. Okay, so Chandler says make a sound. Addie, what kind of sound do you think it is? Okay. Ava, what do you think? Okay, so a snake kind of makes that same sound, makes that noise, isn't it? Okay, Alex, you have something to add to it? Okay, so kind of like a sound or almost like a growl. Okay. All right, our next word is conductor. So remember we're reading the Polar Express. What is a conductor, Addie?
It's a person that leads.
I love that you said person because this suffix right here means a person who does something. Yeah. So we have a conductor. So it's a person who what?
Leads a train.
Okay, so we're going to say a person who leads a train. If you agree with that, give me the agree symbol.
Or drives.
Okay, who leads drives a train.
I got something.
Okay, or?
They take tickets and like they put it on the train.
Okay, so kind of like the person who's in charge, right? Okay.
They drive it and then the driver puts themselves there.
Okay. All right. We're gonna leave it at that, and we'll check it and see if it's correct. Okay. Miss Taylor didn't know this one yet on my first lesson. We have the word nougat. Nougat. Do we know?
No.
We want to leave it blank for a minute. Okay, Alex, what do you think? Okay, it does kind of sound like a nugget. We'll put that up here because that's not entirely wrong. It does sound super similar. Okay, yes. Okay, so Ava's going to say some type of food. Okay, yes.
Maybe like a little food chart? Like a little food cart?
Okay, a food cart. You're using your background knowledge from the movie. Okay. All right, our next word is barren. What do you think barren means? This one's kind of difficult. You think it sounds like berry? Okay, we can check it. We'll put that up here and check our definition. What do you think?
I think it might be like a little seat.
Like a seat?
Yeah.
That you sit on?
Yeah.
Okay, Alex?
Cart?
A buggy? Okay.
A buggy. Yeah. What about seats? Because there's a lot of seats.
Okay. I'm gonna put a star by this one because that's one that we really need to check whenever we go back to check our definition. Okay. All right, next word, harness. Let's think for a minute. We know some of us know the background knowledge of the word harness. Okay. Where might we use a harness? What would we use it for? What would we use a harness for, Alex?
Use it grocery or what kind of stuff you're using.
Okay, so Addie's saying for an animal.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's for like building where you like build a building, like you have like a soup to hold your tools, or like jumping off of the airplane where you have to do the thing like this.
Okay, so used for an animal. So I think what I heard both of you say was that it's kind of used to control something.
Like to hang on to.
Okay, so to control, is it a thing? What is
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's
Okay,
like
so
a belt. Yeah,
like a belt. Okay, so like a belt or maybe a strap.
Yeah.
Okay, and then our last word is the word lurch.
It also.
I'm gonna set the scene for you. Okay, we are lurching when your mom's driving down the road really fast in her car, and that yellow light changes to red, and she stops on her brakes real fast.
Oh.
What does it mean to lurch? You do kind of fly. What does it mean to lurch? Okay, so kind of to bend forward. What do you think?
Like where you drive really fast and hit the brakes.
Okay, so kind of when you bend forward, you move forward. How do you move forward? Are you doing it at a slow pace?
No,
Ava?
You do it at a fast pace. It's like sometimes people love about everything flying. They can go.
Okay.
They can go smooth.
So is it like a slow process or is it sudden?
Sudden.
Okay, so we're going to say to bend forward, fast pace, sudden. Okay. Remember that as we are reading, we are listening for clues. Okay. And part of our clues are going to be our vocabulary words. So as you're reading, if you hear one of our vocabulary words, keep it in mind. We'll go back and use some of our context clues, and we'll make sure that we check the definitions to see if we're correct. Okay. Or somebody wanted but so, how we tell our story. We're going to talk about it in just a minute. Okay. All right. So when we do our comprehension mystery, we do a couple of different things, right? The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look. We're detectives today. We're not elves. Okay. We're going to be detectives. I know it's Christmas. We can be elf detectives.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to preview our book. Okay. We're going to look at the title. We're going to look at the author. We have a little background knowledge. We're going to use our visual clues about what we might think the story might be about. So I know some of us have seen the movie, so we're not going to give everything away because Ava has not. Okay. But some things in our book are a little bit different than the story that happens in the movie. Okay. We also might, if we have a chapter book, something we might do would be to preview a couple of chapters or a couple of paragraphs within our chapter book. We don't have that today. We're going to read our entire story, but that would be an option. Okay. We're also going to make some predictions. What do we think that our story might be about? Now, that's going to be super hard for y'all to do because you've seen the movie, right? So you might kind of lean on Ava a little bit for this. You might ask her what she thinks our story is going to be about. Okay. No, because then it's not a prediction, then it's telling her about the story, right? All right, so as we are reading, we're looking for our clues. Remember, we have our comprehension mystery. So we are listening for who, where, when, what, why, and how. Our who is going to be what in our story? Our person, or sometimes in the story we might have what? An animal, right? An animal that's a who. What about our where? That is a place that something happens, right? What about when?
Whenever it's happening.
When it's happening, right? Can we use our pictures to talk about our when? Yeah, because our pictures tell clues too. Remember, our what is our problem, right? Our why is our problem a problem, and then our how is that problem solved? How's it fixed? Yep. So we're looking for all 6 of those clues. Okay. We are also going to investigate by investigating a little bit further. So we talked a little bit about our vocabulary. We're also going to look for missing clues, and then we have a really strong sense of background knowledge because some of us have seen the movie. So we can use that background knowledge to help us as well. Okay. We are also, when we are looking at our vocabulary, we need to talk about some places that we can go for help. Okay. If I don't know the definition of a word, so I just told you Miss Taylor didn't know the definition of the word nougat, where can I go to find help for that? Y'all are super young, so I bet that y'all don't use a lot of these very often because y'all have Google and all your Chromebooks. But what can we use?
A book.
A book.
A dictionary.
Yeah, we can use a dictionary. Remember that a dictionary we have. I'll put that dictionary. Our dictionary is a place that we can go look up a vocabulary word to see the definition. Okay. We might also use our context clues. So this might be words around our word. Okay. Sometimes we might even be able to use our picture to tell what the vocabulary word is. Okay. What about people? If it's a teaching vocabulary word that you didn't know, who could you ask? Yeah, you could ask an expert in that area, right? And then we're also going to look for missing clues. Okay, so we're going to scan our text to the purpose if we have a missing clue. We might even discuss it with someone. Is it okay to discuss with your shoulder partner? Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We're going to use our background knowledge. So we're going to use our expert peers. We're going to discuss. We might use a computer or an encyclopedia. Okay. So those things could help us. And then all of these things are going to go together to make our reward. Remember that our reward is our summary. Okay. So in 15 words or less, if I had someone who had never read this book before, how would I tell them about this story? Okay. And we're going to use our summary strategy of somebody, wanted, but, so, then. Okay. So when we are finished with our story, we're going to complete our somebody, wanted, but, so, then, and that will be our reward. Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go back to our comprehension clue number 1. We're going to look. Okay. We're going to preview our story. And Ava, this is where we're going to rely on you pretty heavily. Okay.
Yeah.
So our book is The Polar Express. Okay. It is written by the author. Is what? Oh, it does? Yes, it does have a gift wrapper on it. Our author's name is, let's see, Chris Ben Alsburn. So we have actually read a couple of his books in using our comprehension history before. Do you remember any of them? We have read a couple of them. I'd have to pull some of our titles out to look at them and remember what he said. It does have a CALT medal. Yeah, it does.
It's gold.
I don't remember. You know what? Miss Taylor is not an expert in book medals, so I have to look that one up. But we can't talk about it. We will look at it tomorrow and talk about it a little bit more. All right, the Polar Express. Let's make some predictions. Ava, what do you think that the Polar Express is going to be about, my friend? Okay, something to do with the train. What time of year would you guess? Okay, Christmas, around Christmas, because we know our background knowledge tells us that Christmas is typically what month? December, and in December it's always cold and sometimes snowy. We're supposed to get some frozen treats. And it's Christmas, and I told you we were going to read a little bit about Christmas, yes. All right, so as part of our look, as part of our first mystery, I'm going to preview the first little excerpt out of the back of it. Typically it's on the back of our book, but I'm going to read it because it's on our sleeve. Okay, here we go. A young boy lying awake one Christmas Eve is welcomed aboard a magical train ride to the North Pole. All right, I already have some clues. Okay. All right, here is our first page. Remember, you're listening for those vocabulary words, and you're listening for those clues in our story, okay? Here we go. On Christmas Eve, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me that I would never hear. The ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear sounds, though not the ringing of bells. From outside came the sounds of a hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. So I heard a couple of clues through there. I heard a couple of our vocabulary words, okay? Let's go to our vocabulary words first, and then we'll come back and we'll label our book, okay? So we heard the word rustle, and we did hear the word hissing, didn't we? So let's look around that word rustle to see if we have any clues that would tell us the meaning of it, okay? Here's our sentence again. I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. Oh. So we said that rustle meant falling, flying, or winding. Is that definition correct? No, not based on this context, right? Do we want to consult an outside source? Do we think that we might know the context clues here, or do we want to look in our dictionary and see if we might know? Okay. Well, there's nothing really to help us kind of around that other than I did not rustle my sheets. I breathed slowly and silently.
Rumble the sheets. They're not messy.
They're not wrinkly. Okay. Let's consult our dictionary. Okay. So Miss Taylor went through and tabbed. So we know that a dictionary is in alphabetical order, just like we worked with last week, right? I went through and tabbed our words really quickly so that I could find them fastly. Okay. So we have the word rustle. Here's the definition of the word rustle. Are you ready?
Yes.
To make or cause to make a light, soft sound with wings. Like when you're rustling through leaves, you know how they kind of crinkle. Okay, so that's a light, soft sound. So I did not rustle my sheets, because if he did, would he be able to hear Santa's bells?
No.
No. So our definition of falling, flying, or winding, is it correct?
No.
No. So we're going to cross that one out, and we're going to fix it. We said that rustling meant to do what? Make a soft sound, kind of a crinkle, yes, Patty. Okay. We also heard the word hissing. What did we say the word hissing meant? To make a sound. Okay. Does a train make that sound? The steam of a train when it comes up through the top? Yeah. So do what? Okay. Yeah, the sound of the steam of the train does make that.
I've been on the train before, but the horn.
The horn does not. You're correct, but the steam does. Is our definition correct? Yeah, it's correct. Okay. Would it be correct as a growl though? No. So I'm gonna mark that part out so that we know that it's wrong. Just fix that. Yeah, he did kind of help us out with that one, didn't he? All right, we did have a couple of clues too. Did we meet a character?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know his name?
No.
No, but we do know that we met him because we can use our picture clues, right? What about the time of day? Did we know that time of day? It is nighttime on what?
Christmas.
Yeah, would that be a who, where, or when?
When.
Yeah, that would.
No, when, because, but we don't know what actual day.
Well, listen to this first sentence for me. On Christmas Eve, many years ago.
Many years.
Yeah, and many years ago. We could also have both, couldn't we? So we have many years ago, which would be a when, and then we also have, thank you, Addie, we also have the time of day, which was what? Yeah, Christmas Eve. Very good. All right, so we have the train outside the window. All right,
Yeah.
it was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. All aboard! The conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Well, he said, are you coming? Where? I asked. Why, to the North Pole, of course, was his answer. This is the Polar Express. I took his outstretched hand, and he pulled me aboard. Down here in the door. Okay. Do we have any new clues?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We do have a new person. Who's our new person, Chandler? The conductor doesn't have a name. No. Okay. Do we have any other new clues?
Well, the train.
Okay. Well, our setting has changed, hasn't it? Would that be an example of a where or a when? A where, because we went from his bedroom, and now we're outside on the Polar Express, or getting close to the Polar Express, right? We also heard a new vocabulary word. Our vocabulary word was conductor. So we said that conductor meant a person who leads or drives a train, takes the tickets, kind of operates the train. Is that true of this person? Is that what he's doing? Yeah. So do we need to check that definition, or are we good?
Yes.
We're good. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. All right. Ready for more clues?
Yeah.
Here we go. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nougat centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside the lights of town and the villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Yeah, we do have new people. Do we have new people from our words, or are we making an observation? We're making an observation. Who are our new characters?
The people that give hot chocolate.
The people who are giving hot chocolate, the children on the train. Could we use, we do have a new vocabulary word, we're going to get there. Could we use the picture for the time of day? Can we make an observation about what time of day it is by looking out the window?
Yes.
It's dark. Okay. And also it said the children are in their pajamas. When do you typically wear pajamas?
At night.
Well,
December 24th.
It is December 24th. We know that from the beginning. Yes.
Sometimes, people wear just pajamas in the morning. Every and they're in the train. They're how they want to get out. So they can wear pajamas all day.
Okay, so we can see.
And then you know what I did?
What?
I stayed in my pajamas all day and I had sport.
I'm not judging. All right, we also did hear the word nougat. So we said that it was a nugget or a food cart. So we do have a food cart to observe, right? And it does sound like a nugget. Should we check our definition?
They said cross out nugget.
or a train car. So there's a few options it could be, right? Let's double check it. Let's see. Here we have nougat. Are you ready? A nougat is a kind of soft candy containing nuts.
So kind of. How do you find that?
I told you I marked them so that we could save a little bit of time.
So it's food.
So it is food. Okay. Is it a food cart?
No.
No. So it's a type of food. What type of food is it?
Yeah. Candy.
Okay. So food, we're gonna say candy, and it has what? What did it say? What did it say?
It's soft.
Type of soft candy with what? Do you remember what it said? Yeah, it has nuts in it. Okay.
So we can kind of put like a minus.
I kind of think of like peanut brittle when I think of a nougat.
I have like a little candy, not a candy bar, but a bar that I eat every morning as a snack, and it's kind of like that.
Similar.
Pajamas.
I'm ready. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. When traveled through cold, dark forests, where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness.
Do we count them as people?
Could we count them as people?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could, because they are technically a food. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And they're actually like things.
Yeah, they are things. Has our setting changed? We went from the train, now we're observing the train and me. What? Is that aware or a when?
Aware.
Aware, very good.
And then we have another. What type of wood? We have another person.
Where? Who? No more lights were seen. We traveled through a cold, dark forest as the train
Dark.
thundered. Dark would not technically be anything but a descriptive word, an adjective. Yes, Ava. I think that what's happening is that the lights are reflecting in the snow. Have you ever seen outside when it's snowy how it kind of looks super light outside? I think that that's actually what's happening. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster.
The mountain.
We are in the mountains, so what has changed? The setting, the place, which is a where clue. Yeah, it's a where clue. Okay. I don't know about you guys, a where clue? It's where we are. And it's a clue. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but it seems kind of scary to be up on a mountain with a train.
Where's the other part of the train? I see that part.
So
I don't know that.
So what's happening is that they're showing you that they're traveling on the train track, but they're winding through this mountain and you can't see it because it's making a winding motion. The mountains turned into hills, the hills into covered snow plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole.
I didn't know it was the North Pole.
Nope. So I think he's saying this in the distance.
So we're in a different setting.
I did. We are moving towards a different setting. Yes, we are. I heard a vocabulary word. Does anyone hear it?
No.
Okay, listen again. We crossed a barren desert of ice. The great polar ice cap. Okay. I want to think about this one for a minute, okay? Because we have the word barren, and it used the word desert. Typically, what do you see in a desert?
Sand. Oh, yeah.
Do you see anything else?
Some
animals. Can lots of animals survive in the desert?
Not.
Can lots of plants survive in the desert?
No, animals can survive in the desert.
Some animals, they have to be able to store lots of water, okay? Can lots of plants survive in the desert?
Yeah.
What kind of plants?
I forgot the cactus.
A cactus. So do you know what interesting fact about a cactus is that it has to be able to store lots of water, okay? It uses its own water supply until there is a short supply of rain. So, is there typically a lot of life happening in the desert?
No.
Think about somewhere that's completely frozen. Will there be a lot of life that occurred in somewhere that's completely frozen?
Sort of.
Okay. So, think about it, Addie. Could you survive in something that's completely frozen?
No.
What happens when plants get snow on them?
They die.
They die. So, do we think that berry seeds are buggy? Is the definition of the word barren? Okay. So could we kind of make a guess based off of our context clues, or do we need to consult the dictionary? Dictionary consult. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Barren means. Let me turn it around so I can see it. Oh. B-A-R-R-E-N means two. Yeah, I lost it. Alex is bragging about how quickly I could find it. And here it is. Not able to produce much or unattractive. Okay. So if I say not able to produce much, what does that mean?
Like not able to produce stuff.
Yeah, like it can't keep wildlife or plant life. Okay, so if something is barren, that means not able to produce much. What?
Addie, look at Addie. Look at the little ant screen.
Oh, hold on. Listen. Is this important to what we're doing right now?
Yes.
Okay. Can we come back to it later?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So barren means that we are not able to keep much. To produce much to keep much life. Okay. The North Pole is a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. They are gathering in the center of the city, said the conductor. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift? We all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. So now you see the Polar Express roaring down through what? Is it a tunnel?
No.
It's coming out of a tunnel going down through the city of the
North Pole.
Yeah, the North Pole.
We have new camp.
Who, where, when?
Santa.
We have a where? We met Santa?
No.
No. We did discuss him a little, didn't we?
When?
Do we have a when?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, we have a new setting.
We do have a new setting, which would be our where? Our time has changed?
No. Wait.
Has our location changed?
Yes.
Yes, because we're now entering into the North Pole. Very good. At the very bottom, it looks like pipes that are running down through the North Pole. I'm not sure what this is. Look! Shouted one of the children. The elves! Outside, we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew near and closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets of Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no further, we stopped, and the conductor let us outside.
New person and new.
We have new people, right? Who are our new people?
Elves.
The elves.
And we have new waves.
Can you see the new the elves?
Yeah. Those are thousands.
There are a ton of elves.
And then we have a
We do have a new where? What is our new where?
The
center of the center of the North Pole.
And it's all the way back there too.
Alright, let's keep reading, see if we can find more clues. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of the large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound, like nothing I had ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and pointing to me, he said, let's have this fellow here. He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, now, what would you like for Christmas?
New person.
We do have a new person, which is Santa.
No, too, because elves.
Have we already tagged our elves?
Yeah.
We've already tagged our elves, so we're going to kind of leave them right there.
We have a new wave.
We do have a new where. Okay, so technically not. We can just see it from a different point of view, right? So we're still in the center of the North Pole. I did hear one of those clues again. Did y'all hear it?
No.
No? Okay, listen again. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. Oh, harnesses. Used for an animal to control them, like a belt or a strap.
Oh, yeah, we basically. Because you have to, like Santa has to hold on to them so they don't fight.
Yeah, you hold on to something called reins, right, to control his animals or his reindeer. So correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it pretty good.
So got two
Pretty good, accurate. Ava, you're our predictor since you don't have any background knowledge on this story, okay? What do you think that the boy, remember we don't know the boy's name, we haven't learned his name because the story is told from his point of view. So what do you think that he's going to ask Santa for Christmas?
I forgot.
You forgot?
Yeah.
So let's make that prediction. Alex, what do you think?
He's gonna ask. There's gonna be
Okay. Do you think that what he asks for is going to be pretty special?
Yes.
Maybe he's going to ask for a dog. Okay. I knew that I'd have any gift that I could imagine. But the one thing that I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked Santa, he smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from the reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of Christmas." Why would he want a bell? Do you know my answer?
I think.
Okay, why do you think that he wanted a bell?
Because his friend told him that he would never hear a bell into his ear, so he wanted one.
So do you remember at the beginning of our story, his friend told him, "Santa's not real, you're never going to hear a bell from his sleigh." Yeah, we have our reindeer. We can try our reindeer. You do have a bell.
He's asking for something because he wants to prove his friend.
Yeah, he wants that proof, doesn't he? A clock struck midnight as the elves roared into their approval. Oh no. I don't know. I think something's going to happen. Santa handed the bell to me and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeer's names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared into the cold, dark, polar sky. Oh, give away our story.
What is that thing?
Santa, right here.
Yeah.
It's his whip. To crack so that he can get his reindeer motivated. Yeah, to go fast. Hold on, I have a question. Okay. So my question is, Santa is disappearing. His location is changing. Are we able to see his location changing?
No.
His reindeer are rising, right? And where did it say that they were going?
The dog.
Yeah, the cold, dark, polar sky. Could we add that to our setting? Yeah, it's changing. Would that be a where or when?
A where.
A where. That would be a where. Very good. All right, Ava, is your question super quick and is it pertinent?
Yeah, it's how does he hold it and how does he how does it sleigh how does he not the reindeer because the straps are connected to the sleigh.
The straps are connected to the reindeer are connected to the sleigh.
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see my bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus's sleigh. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," one of the children said. But the train gave a sudden lurch and we started moving. We were on our way home. What do I have here?
A problem.
Well, I have a problem. What is my problem?
He lost his bell.
Yeah, his problem is that our character lost his bell. Let's make an observation. What does he look like in the picture?
Sad.
He looks pretty disappointed, doesn't he? Let's see what happens. Do you think our problem can be solved?
Yeah.
Let's see. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. "What?" I yelled out. He cupped his hands around my mouth. "Merry Christmas!" he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. So my problem is that he lost his bell. Why is that a problem?
Because he wanted to prove his friend.
He does want to prove his friend wrong, but also how does he feel?
Sad. But
listen to this first sentence again. It broke my heart to lose the bell. So he does feel sad, but he also feels what? Yeah, so that's that's the reason why my problem is a problem, right? He's super disappointed. He's super sad. I'm also going to turn back a page because Miss Taylor forgot to acknowledge a vocabulary word, and y'all forgot to help me remind me. Okay, listen again. The train gave a sudden lurch, and we started moving. Okay, so we said that a lurch meant to bend forward at a fast or sudden pace. What do you think?
Pace. Because fast moving.
So something that begins moving, okay? Is our definition correct? Do we need to consult the dictionary?
No. We need to cross.
Okay, we need to cross them out. Okay. What do we think we need to cross out? Okay, we think we need to cross bend forward out. Y'all agree? Okay. So if the train went into a sudden lurch, what does that mean? It started moving at a sudden fast pace. So I'm going to add movement over here. Okay.
But do we still get a
Yeah, I'll still check it. Will that make you feel better? We got part of it correct. Okay. What? Okay. Alright, so he's super disappointed. Okay. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one small last box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was a silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. I shook the bell, and it made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. So my mother said, "That's too bad." Yeah, my father said, "It's broken." When I'd shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. So I have a couple of new clues here.
We have a present.
We do have new people. Our new people are
The parent and the dad.
or say mom, dad, okay.
And we have
And
a
sister. What was sister's name? Do you remember?
no.
Listen again. Sarah and I opened our presents. So her name is Sarah. Okay.
And
We also have a new where. Okay. What's our new where, Chandler? Okay, so we are at the house, specifically in the living room. We also have a new when. Did y'all hear that clue?
In the morning.
Yeah. What morning?
Christmas morning.
Christmas morning.
And I have dollar. I have like problem.
That would probably be a minor problem, right? Is it going to inconvenience our whole story? No. So, but I do have another huge clue to my problem, right?
Yeah.
So my problem was that our character lost his bell, and it was a problem because he was super sad about it. He couldn't prove to his friend that Santa was real. How was our problem solved?
He found it.
He who?
Santa found it, and his pocket was broken, and it fell on his sleigh. I think I know how he lost it. When he found it,
Okay, so Santa found it on his sleigh, and he brought it back to put under the Christmas tree for him to open on
How did
Christmas.
he grab it while he's driving?
Maybe he had an extra box or something like that happen. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for them all. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me, just as it does for all who truly believe.
Christmas.
Okay. His sister stopped believing, I guess. Okay, Chandler, quick question.
So I've been on
Yes, I have been on the Polar Express in Branson.
Yeah, and that picture is the same exact bell you get on.
Yes, it is. And I used to have one, but somehow Beckett lost it. I'm not real sure what happened.
It's on my sheet.
Alright, so really quickly, we are going to use our somebody wanted but so method to write a summary, okay? Remember, our summary is something that we could retell to someone in 15 words or less so that they would know exactly what the Polar Express book is about, even if they've never read it, okay? So let's start with our somebody. Remember that our somebody is going to typically be our main character. Who was our main character? Do we know his name? It was what? Yeah, good job, Addie. It was our little boy. Okay. Was Santa a main character?
No, yeah.
Let's keep him in mind and let's kind of jot him down up here with the star by him because he is important, but he's not one of our main characters. Okay. All right. So our somebody was the little boy. What did our somebody want?
A bell.
He wanted a bell where?
For the North Pole.
A bell from. Where do you want a bell from, Chandler? From Santa's what?
A reindeer. It's Dasher, Danner, Comet, Cupid.
We need to work on those reindeer names. But he did want a bell from Santa's reindeer, right? Okay. But what happened?
He lost it.
He lost it. Who lost it?
The boy.
Okay, so but the boy, we're going to say he, lost the bell, right?
He was sad.
So what?
Yeah.
Was he only sad?
His heart was broken.
Yeah, his heart was broken. He was disappointed. Okay.
And then he died.
Okay.
Most likely sad.
So listen, hold on. So he was sad or disappointed. Then what happened? Alex, what happened at the end? Yeah, so Santa, right, delivered the bell. When did he deliver it to him?
Christmas morning.
Yeah. I'm going to put C-M as Christmas morning because I already got the answer right. Okay? Alright, so I want you to listen to my summary. I'm going to regurgitate this. I'm going to retell it to you. Okay? Instead of having to write it out for our reward down here because I don't think that I have time enough room. So listen, okay? The little boy wanted a bell from Santa's reindeer, but he lost the bell. So he was sad and disappointed. Then Santa delivered the bell to him on Christmas morning. If you have never read that book before, would you be able to tell what that book was about based on our summary?
Yeah.
Yeah, do we have our reward?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
Just saying.
Good job.
He lost his bell.
Yeah, he lost his bell. That was our problem. How is it solved though?
He got it back.
Yep. Santa brought it back